Then the day came, and you're ready to be on this call with him. What happened? Because it was his Ask Gary V one, right? It was one of those.
Yep.
So what happened? How did you feel? Yeah.
Oh, I was so fucking excited because I've been watching so much of his content that, like, you can even hear on the interview, I'm like, yeah, I'm nervous. And he's like, don't worry, you look great.
Yeah, no, I think it was cool because when I played it back, I was like, oh man, that's so cool because it's quite a big deal. Somebody like him, because he is obviously a celebrity, but he has a side of him that he's willing to help everybody. No matter how small you are with business or entrepreneurship, he wants to give you advice. And I think it was so cool to actually know that you got on there because I thought, this is cool. Where's this going to go? And from what you were telling me, this obviously led to an opportunity for you with Empathy Wines. It's obviously his father's business with the wine library. Explain to us what you were providing, because I think there's an important message for people listening to this.
Well, Gary said that you can, like, and that's how I got a hold of him too. He's like, if you ever really wanted to get a hold of me, he's like, you could.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And he says that in his videos. He's like, if you know, and that's what made me think, how would I get a hold of him? If I cover every platform and I attack every person that he knows, you got to get it across. Yeah. And I think that's where I struck a great chord with him because they had me on the phone like prior to it, like with May, and she's like, hey, he's bringing you on at this time, at this moment, like they were prepping me on the phone because then I hung up and like literally he called right after. And it was kind of funny. And then when we're talking on the phone, he's always like, because Gary even says it, always have a pitch ready. Always pitch a pitchman. So that's why in the end of the conversation, after I got the question, that's why I said in the beginning, I was like, I got two things for you, Gary.
Nice.
So I got a question, and then at the end, I hit him up about sponsoring the Willies for SEMA. They were supposed to send out wine and stuff like that. He didn't get all three of the bottles done. We didn't have any of that stuff done, but now we're working with them to actually use the vehicle as part of the wine delivery kind of aspect of the Empathy kind of thing. I'm not even sure with the COVID shit right now, and a lot of stuff is shut down.
Sure, I mean it'll be delayed, but that's gonna be so cool. The fact that your 1959 Willys panel can be used as a promotional tool, which I think is pretty amazing. I've never really seen him personally getting involved in the automotive industry that much. I think the only thing I've seen is like NASCAR racing, I think, that I've seen him get involved with Vayner Sports. But to do that, especially with a wrap build like you have, that's going to be cool. So I'm looking forward when all this lockdown thing is all done and dusted, that gets to be done. That's going to be dope as hell. I can't wait to see that because I'd love to see a look on his face when he sees that kind of vehicle ratted out, delivering his Empathy wines. It's just it's going to be cool, man. So I appreciate you sharing that because I think it's important that you actually went out your way. You saw an opportunity, you didn't waste it. You're offering something of value for free in exchange for an opportunity to not only to help him, but to show what you can do. And I think that's awesome.
Well, part of it was another conversation we had later on was, it was because I used the words new age vintage, like a wine.
Nice. Sounds really cool, actually. Something really special about that. Yeah, new age vintage. What does that mean? You have to taste it, then you'll see. Yeah, that's cool, man. And so when it comes to the rat rod, were you always into rat rod builds before, or is it pure hot rod before the rat rod thing?
That's my first rat.
First rat. And before it was purely just hot rod type builds.
I usually do really clean vehicles. I'm notorious for doing really clean quarters and doing real high end, like $200,000 builds.
So why then rat rod? What was the choice there?
Honestly, a challenge. All the other teams were doing it in a year. So they had a year to build a car. And in my head, I was like, I don't want a year. I want to see what I can do in 90 days. And I don't want to do the 90 days in the beginning and have a chance to fix shit. I want to wait till I have 90 days left, and that's the moment we're going to start. Nice. And all my parents, like my dad he was freaking out. Like all my team members were kind of twigging out. And I was like, how do we know what we can do until we do it? You don't know what you're capable of until you put yourself on that line and kind of They give me so much shit for it now because like at first we didn't have it ready and a few other things. We had some issues,
Sure. But
but at the same time, it was so much fun doing it in 90 days because it's assholes and elbows every which way.
I love that, assholes and elbows. Yeah, I mean, but this is a 90-day challenge to build this, and I'm assuming that it was built for the International Radical build-off drive-off, which is, if I remember, it's. I mean, what is it exactly? The International Radical drive-off. What is it? Tell us a bit about
There's
that.
12 teams internationally is what was in ours, and
Yeah.
they were teams from Australia, Canada, all over. They've had teams in the years past that came from Africa, England. Like Sam Hard came from England, brought that NASCAR over, like a '69 Dodge Charger with a NASCAR underneath it. That was just absolutely epic.
Yeah.
We had so much fun, and like all these teams built for a year, to get
Right.
these cars done, and then they ship them across the sea to Nebraska, and then we all try and drive from Nebraska to Las Vegas.
That's so cool. Oh my God. So you decided instead of a year, 90 days to build this vehicle to be at that exact drive off. Holy cow. And you made it, obviously. You made it in
Well,
time.
we did make it in time. We missed the first part of the drive off because we were having brake issues,
Of course,
and
okay.
then by the time we got to Nebraska, or not Nebraska, we got down to New Mexico. We actually ended up cutting the brake pedal and making it work so we could get on the drive.
Oh shit. Well, you did it, which is I think is cool. Despite just that, you made it in 90 days when these guys have done it in a year, which is insane. I mean, we haven't done it yet, but we definitely want to join you guys when all this lockdown is over. But what was it like to experience the driving from Nebraska, I think you said, all the way to Las Vegas with 12 rat rods basically, and all these different dudes? I mean, what was that like to experience? I mean, I bet that was one hell of a road trip.
Best experience in the world.
I can
You
imagine.
felt having so much fun connecting with other dudes that were, in the same realm as you. You're teasing each other, giving each other hell. And my car was evolving as we went because I didn't do the rust on it until we got to Vegas. So we actually surprised a lot of the teams because we
Right.
put the interior in when we were at SEMA.
That's brilliant. We're going to make it no matter what. We'll still build the car in the 4 days at SEMA.
Well, I had my upholstery guy. He's from Wisconsin. He did the side panels, and he's like, "What should we do?" I was like, "I got the wood in there because we sent him templates on paper." So
Yeah.
he made that, and it's light up for AJ from Glow Trend. I got to give him a shout out. He's such a badass dude. We're out there at like midnight on Monday and Tuesday night and Sunday nights, just stapling shit together. The Discovery Channel's doing filming. We're fucking making noise, putting the car together. You're not supposed to put shit together at SEMA, but we're like, fuck it.
Do you know what? Why not? It gives a shit. I mean, most people have in the crunch literally like 2 a.m. before the show kicks off. That's what happens. But you guys did that, and I think it's awesome that you've managed to do it in that such a short time because it does take a long time. I mean, if no one's ever built a car, it takes a lot. You always think you've got plenty of time, but then it's always like the last week. You're like, what the hell? And you like almost build the entire car in a week before the show happens, and that's insane. And that was the first one you did.